Welcome to the sixth lecture in the module 2 in the subject hydrology and water resources. So, what we were studying in the previous lecture, we established the relations or studied the relations, how many rain gauges has to be are sufficient in a catchment area. Okay. Then we came to how to calculate the average value of precipitation, or how to calculate the mean value of precipitation. Okay. So in that we studied two methods, arithmetic mean method and Thiessen polygon method. Okay. So in the same sequence, now we will study third method that will be called isoheital method. Okay, then we will do one problem over that. Okay, so this is the content for today's class. So we will start with the third method. So the third method is called isoheital method. So what is the isoheital method? In this method, first we should know what is isoheights. So isoheights are similar to the contour lines. Okay, so they are almost similar to contours. So what are contours? Contours are line joining points of equal elevation. Okay, सेम एलिवेशन के पॉइंट्स को अब अगर आप ज्वाइन कर देते हैं देन इट इज कॉल्ड कंटूर और कंटूर मैप. सिमिलरली आइसोहाइट्स आर द लाइन विच जॉइंस पॉइंट्स हैविंग इक्वल रेनफॉल. ओके, सो इक्वल वैल्यू ऑफ रेनफॉल वाली पॉइंट्स को अगर आप कनेक्ट करके एक लाइन बनाएं, दैट लाइन विल बी कॉल्ड isoheital line. Okay, so you must first of all you need isoheital lines to calculate the mean value of precipitation. Okay, then let's see. So once you draw the isoheights, okay, once you can draw the isoheital lines and you name those isoheital line as P1, P2, P3, P4 up to Pn. Okay, like this: P1, P2, P3, P3 and up to Pn. Okay, in the way you can name them. Okay, they are basically lines of rainfall. Okay, so you can name them. Then what you have to do, you have to find the area between two isoheights. Okay, दो isoheight के बीच का जो area है, then you have to concentrate on that area. And then let me might not be getting here. So let me say that if, let us say this is some map of India. Let us assume that it is a map. Okay. Okay. So if this is a map of India and if you establish a number of rain gauges in the country, okay, you establish a number of rain gauges, okay, like this. Assume that these all are rain gauges. Okay, these all are rain gauge stations. Let us assume that. So what you have to do, you have to connect all those rain gauges. Okay, all those rain gauges which are giving equal value of rainfall. Suppose rainfall happens in this area and if some rain gauges, these rain gauges, suppose rainfall value is 10, some of the rain gauges out of them records the rainfall value as 10 centimeter, and you need to connect them. Okay, suppose these are the rain gauge stations. Okay, these are the rain gauge stations that you have connected. Okay, and these rain gauges stations are giving P is equal to 10 centimeter. Okay, this one. Okay, so these lines are called your isohydal lines. Okay, these are isohydal. These lines are nothing but your isohyds. Okay, these lines are called your isohyd line. Similarly, for rainfall is equal to 12 centimeter, you can also connect. Let us say this is like that. Precipitation is how much? 12 centimeter. So this is second isohydal line. Likewise, you can draw a several number of isohyds depending on how much accuracy you require. Okay. So because to draw one isohyd, you will require a huge number of rain gauge stations. Okay. So once you draw several lines, okay, once you have drawn several lines, then if area between these two lines is suppose A1 and here A2, similarly A3, then what you can say that in this area, okay, in this area, what is the value of rainfall? It is the average of this and this. Okay, let us say this is P1, let us say this is Pn, okay, whatever value it is. So in this area, what is the value of rainfall? Rainfall value is P1 plus Pn divided by 2, average value of these two isohydal lines. Okay, so exactly the same thing your formula is also saying, that if you want to calculate the average value, what you have to do, in area A1, what is the value of precipitation? P1 plus P2 by 2, average value of two isohydal lines. Okay. Similarly, like this, similarly for P2 and P3, for area A2, then up to AN. Okay. Likewise, you have to average. Okay, you have to do weighted averaging. Okay, similar to Thiessen polygon. Okay, the only difference is we have drawn lines instead of points. In Thiessen polygon method, we were doing the same kind of thing, area multiplied by precipitation. But precipitation value was a point value. It was recorded by a single rain gauge station. But here it is basically a line. Okay, that is why it is a better method than Thiessen polygon method. Okay, it is so isohydal method is out of three method. It is the more superior method. Okay, it gives better result as compared to the other. Okay, so in this way you can calculate the mean value, but there are so many problems in doing this. Okay, so what can be the problem? The first problem is you need to specify or identify your catchment area. Okay, then only you can you can do this calculation. Okay, you have to identify the catchment area. Then in that catchment area you need to draw your isohyds. Okay, then between two isohyds you have to find the area. Okay, and how to find this area? Once you draw something on some area on the paper, then you use an instrument that is called planimeter. Okay, by the help of planimeter you can calculate this area on a map. Okay, on a map you can calculate area using planimeter. So now you know, you calculate this area and you have drawn the iso height, then you can start calculating these values. But what is important here is that drawing this isoheital lines is very costly method, or very costly task, because what you require this much number of rain gauges, huge number of rain gauges. If you will reduce this rain gauge station, automatically the accuracy of the method, isoheital method, will go down. Okay, so if you want to use this method, you should first decide that can I draw iso heights. Okay, can I draw iso heights accurately or not? Okay, to draw accurately you require several number of or more number of rain gauges. Okay, whereas in Thiessen polygon you don't require this much of rain gauge stations. Okay, so let's do one slightly more practical kind of thing. So I have taken this image from Google Earth. Okay, sorry. So I have taken this image from Google Earth, and here I have targeted this village that is called Mausan Ram. Okay, Mausan Ram receives highest value of rainfall in all over the world. Mausan Ram receives highest rainfall, and just beside this Mausan Ram there is another place that is called Cherrapunji. So Cherrapunji also receives second highest value of rainfall in all over the world. So why they receive this high value? Because if you see here, okay, so if you see here, this much is the kind of place, okay, of Mausan Ram. This is the place Mausan Ram, and this is your mountain. Again, this side is also mountain. Okay, this side is also your mountain. Three sides are mountainous region. Okay, and the moist air enters from this side. Okay, moist air enters likewise. Okay, enters like this, and three sides are mountain. So what happens? Orographic rainfall happens, and there is no other way for the air to escape from this trap. So it is kind of trap. So all the moist air gets precipitated in this area. That is why it receives the highest value of rainfall. A similar kind of geographic nature is here also. Okay, here also this is also mountain, this is also mountain, this is also mountain. Okay, for clarity you can check Google Earth. Okay, there you can see the elevations and mountains if it is not clear in the image. Okay, so let's talk about iso heights first. So if this is some let us talk about this place. Okay, let us say this is some place. Now you first have to identify your catchment area if you want to calculate the average value of precipitation. Okay, so how to actually mark your catchment area? So for that, you must first understand the definition of catchment area. So what is catchment area? Catchment area is that area in which water, or in which if there is some precipitation, the water flows to a certain stream. Okay, let me okay, see here, suppose this is some area, okay, and this is some kind of mountain, boundaries are there, mountains are there, it is slopey this side and another slope is this side. So whatever rainfall happens in this area, okay, all this rainfall will flow, okay, will flow up to a certain point. Okay, it will come from this point, it will go from this particular point. So all this area which contributes the volume of rain to a particular point from where a river may start flowing. Okay, so all this area is called your catchment area. So similarly, first you have to mark your catchment area. So how to mark your catchment area? You must identify what is the, if mountain is like this, so you must target this point, okay, this particular point. So if you connect all this top point of the mountain, okay, that, so if you could observe here, okay, so likewise, okay, likewise you can connect this top point of a mountain and then you will get your catchment area. So if water falls here, it will go in this village and it will go out from certain point. I don't know exactly point for this map, but it will certainly go out from one particular point, or all the water will join one river. Okay, so this is the catchment area for that river. So likewise, you have to first mark your catchment area. Once you have marked your catchment area, then you need to plot several number of rain gauge stations. Okay, you have to locate the rain gauge station, okay, which were established by some department. Then you should, this rain gauge records rainfall 10 centimeter, this 12, this 13, this 10, this is 10, this is 12. Okay, likewise, if these are the values of rainfall recorded by the rain gauge stations, then what you have to do, you have to connect these 10, 10, okay, 10, 12, 12, and these lines are called your isohydral lines. Okay, now connecting them is not this much easier. You have to do so much calculation. Actually, hydrology is a very complicated science. Okay, a very slight change in one data can change everything. Okay, so there is huge number of parameters. So this task itself is very difficult task. It is not an easier task to draw these lines, but the rough idea is to connect these values. Okay, so this is how you can draw the isohydrals. Then you can, after you have drawn these lines, you can simply use the formula. Okay, you can simply use this formula to get your to calculate this mean value. Okay, so let's simply try to solve one numerical also. So what this is a simple numerical in which they are saying that area between the isohydrals is given. If these are the isohydral lines, isohydral line of 70 mm, 90 mm, 100 mm, and area between these two lines, okay, दोनों लाइन के बीच में जो एरिया है वो क्या है, ये क्या है 60 square kilometer. Okay, this is the area. So you just have to use the formula, okay, and then you can simply solve it. I am stressing so much here because you must understand that just remembering the formula and not knowing how this is done is a kind of waste of your knowledge if you are not able to actually think of it, that how actually you calculate these values. Okay, so let's try it here. So what is the formula? Pm is equal to P1 plus P2 divided by 2 dot A1 plus P2 plus P3 by 2 multiplied by A2 up to n, and sum of all the area A1 plus A2 plus A3. This is your basic formula. Then you can, what is the P1 value? It is 70 and 90. P1 is 70, P2 is 90. So 70 plus 90 by 2. And what is the area between these two lines? It is 60 square kilometers. Then P2 plus P3, which is 90 plus 100 by 2. Area is 275. Then 100 plus 125 divided by 2. How much is the area? 260 plus 125 plus 140 divided by 2 multiply by 150 plus 140 plus 150 divided by 2 multiply by area 380. Then 150 plus 165 by 2 multiply by area. How much is the area? 215 square kilometer. Then 165 plus 180 by 2 multiply by 120 and divide by sum of all the area. So what is the area? Is 60 plus 70, sorry, 60 plus 275 plus 260 plus 150 plus 380 plus 215 plus 120. Okay, so this is your kind of, you have put the value in the formula. Now you can solve this. So the value will come out to be 129.9, okay, in the unit mm. So this is the average value of precipitation. Okay. Now the important thing is you can use any method to calculate the mean values. Okay, but for practical purposes, when you will require to make dams, okay, or any hydraulic structures, so एक्चुअल में क्या हो रहा है और आप क्या कैलकुलेट कर रहे हैं, ये चीज बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है. ओके, सपोज एक्चुअल में बारिश हो रही है, कुछ और वैल्यू आप कोई एक पर्टिकुलर मेथड यूज करके वो वैल्यूज कैलकुलेट कर रहे हैं, तो किसी को पता नहीं चलेगा कि वो सही है या गलत है. ओके, कोई बता नहीं सकता. So for that you have to be very careful while doing these calculations, okay? Because अगर आपने एक भी गलत डिजाइन कर दिया and this wrong design can cause huge damages, okay? Dam may break, or the purpose of dam can also be defeated. So you should be very careful while selecting or while studying the method, okay? कि कौन सा मेथड कब यूज करना है, okay? जो वैल्यूज आ रही हैं वो सही भी हैं या नहीं है, सही है तो कितनी सही है, okay? That also you should think of, okay? So hydrology is a very complicated science, okay? Nobody knows the truth, okay? We just have developed some methods and we are doing things based on these methods, okay? We are constantly trying to evolve, okay? So this is a kind of thing, okay? So there are some limitations of isohydral method, okay? What are the limitations? So first limitation that I already discussed is you require more number of rain gauge stations, then only you can plot the correct isohydral line, okay? Otherwise एक्चुअल में आइसोहाइड कुछ और होगी, आप कोई और ही आइसोहाइड ड्रॉ कर रहे हो, सो दैट इज वेरी डेंजरस थिंग, ओके? देन ऑल्सो देयर इज वन मोर प्रॉब्लम विद आइसोहाइडल मेथड इज अगर आपने एक बार आइसोहाइड ड्रॉ कर ली है, सपोज फॉर 1 ईयर, ओके? देन इफ देयर इज सम क्लाइमेट चेंज, okay, if there is some climate change, what will happen? It will change the rainfall pattern, okay? If rainfall pattern changes, then your isohydrates will also get changed. So this is one more problem, and today the climate change is very fast, okay? So you should be very careful, okay, that you are using the correct isohydrates or not. Some people have already published their isohydrates, they have done research and they have given it that, okay, this is isohydrates, but you cannot simply believe them, because after every year some climate changes somewhere, okay? So you should make sure कि उस जगह पे isohydrate change हुए हैं या नहीं हुए हैं, okay? So that you should identify at very first stage before using this method, okay? Also this is very tough task to draw the isohydrates. It is very you require a lot of interpolation techniques and some linearization techniques, okay? So that it is very you require skilled manpower and it is very cumbersome process, okay? So the next topic is depth area duration. So आप ये सब कर क्यों रहे हैं, okay? कि आपने अभी तक क्या किया कि रेन गेज स्टेशन लगाए, वहां की वैल्यू रिकॉर्ड करी, फिर वैल्यूज को देख के आपने मीन वैल्यू निकालने की कोशिश करी, okay? So why you are doing all this thing? You are doing this because you want to make structures as per your requirement. आपको पानी का स्टोरेज चाहिए, आपको एक बड़ा सा रिजर्वायर बनाना है, उसके लिए आप इतना सारा रिसर्च कर रहे हैं, इतनी सारी वैल्यूज निकालना सीख रहे हैं, ओके? सो दिस इज व्हाट यू आर डूइंग, ओके? नाउ अगर आप देखना चाहें कि how if you have rainfall value and you have catchment area and you want to see what is the relationship between this area and your precipitation, okay? So they have given one formula like this. Okay, so it is basically a PDF, a probability density function. It is based on probability density function. Okay, then so how to come to this equation? It is basically a mathematics. You have so much data and you try to arrange that data in a specific manner, and you will see what type of density function or probability density function this data is following. Okay, then based on that experimental data or realistic data, you come to this conclusion. This is not the 100% accurate conclusion, but most of the time it will, the nature will follow this kind of graph. Okay, so as a undergraduate student, you just have to remember this formula, that precipitation and area follows a relation in a exponential, and the relation is exponential. It is like P is equal to P naught e to the power minus K dot A dot N. So this area, and this is some value of rainfall or precipitation. So आप देखेंगे कि अगर आप जितना एरिया बढ़ाते जाएंगे, कि माइनस की वजह से प्रेसिपिटेशन की वैल्यू क्या होगी, कम आने लगेगी। जैसे आप एरिया बड़ा करने लगेंगे, आपका कैचमेंट एरिया बहुत बड़ा होगा, तो उस बड़े कैचमेंट एरिया में आप देखेंगे कि मीन वैल्यू ऑफ प्रेसिपिटेशन और प्रेसिपिटेशन वैल्यू एट ए सर्टेन टाइम it will start reducing. Okay, you can try this by yourself also. You can refer some tables given in the back of your textbook. So you can also draw this graph by yourself also. So as a student, you should remember this one, that precipitation and catchment area is a exponential relation. Okay, now what are these values? These K and N are some constants, okay, some mathematical constants. So for every area, what people do or researchers do, they calculate these values. For every area, this value keeps changing. Okay, हर जगह का climate अलग है, वहाँ का geographic feature अलग है. Based on them, these values keep on changing. So I have listed one research paper, which is Dhar and Bhattacharya. They says that they have got these K and N values for a particular place. Okay, they have calculated this value by averaging some 42 storms. Okay, so likewise you don't require these values, but important thing is to remember this relation, okay, to understand this graph. Okay, so assuming that you know this, then one more definition is probable maximum precipitation. So what is probable maximum precipitation? So if you want to construct a reservoir, you want to construct a dam, you must estimate, okay, you must predict what will be the maximum value of precipitation in the catchment area of dam. Okay, ये डैम जो पानी स्टोर करेगा, तो मैक्सिमम प्रेसिपिटेशन कितना हो सकता है? Okay, that maximum precipitation is called probable maximum precipitation. Okay, but the thing is कि ये वैल्यू आप कभी पता नहीं लगा सकते, कि it is almost impossible. हर साल फ्लड पुरानी फ्लड का रिकॉर्ड तोड़ सकती है. Okay? You cannot just calculate it. So what will you do? You will डिपेंड ऑन दी हिस्टोरिकल डेटा, कि अभी तक जितना हुआ है आप मान के चलेंगे कि वही हमको गाइड करेगा फ्यूचर के लिए. सो यू टेक ऑल द प्रीवियस डेटा एंड बेस्ड ऑन that data you calculate this probable maximum precipitation. आप वो डेटा लेते हैं, उससे एक प्रोबेबिलिटी डेंसिटी फंक्शन बनाते हैं. ओके, और जब आप बनाएंगे then people have found that this data follows normal distribution. Okay, this follows normal distribution curve. Okay, और normal distribution curve follow करता है, इसलिए उसका फॉर्मूला उन्होंने इस तरीके से निकाल दिया है. क्या मतलब आपने कंक्रीट में भी पढ़ा होगा इस तरीके का एक फॉर्मूला, FCK इज इक्वल टू FM प्लस 1.65 sigma. Okay, same kind of formula it is. It is some average value, it is some standard deviation, and it is some value of K. So if you could see this, suppose let me give one example to understand, so that you can understand why it follows a normal distribution. ऐसा करिए कि लेट अस से कि आप एक इंसान हैं जो क्या कर रहे हैं, एक 5 सेंटीमीटर की लाइन ड्रॉ कर रहे हैं. ओके, आपका टारगेट क्या है कि आप 5 सेंटीमीटर की लाइन ड्रॉ करें. पर जब भी आप ड्रॉ करेंगे, आप कभी भी 5 सेंटीमीटर की लाइन एग्जैक्टली ड्रॉ नहीं कर पाएंगे. ओके, वाई? हो सकता है कि टेम्परेचर बढ़ जाए और आपका जो स्केल है वो थोड़ा सा उसकी लेंथ बढ़ जाए. ओके, हमेशा जितने टेम्परेचर पे स्केल को बनाया गया था उतना ही टेम्परेचर करंट कंडीशन पे नहीं रहेगा, वो थोड़ा सा एक्सटेंड कर सकता है. आप पेन का निब रखेंगे, पेन की निब की भी कोई डायमीटर है, तो हो सकता है वो 0.001 से क्या हो, कम या ज्यादा हो जाए. तो आप कभी भी 5 सेंटीमीटर नहीं ड्रॉ बना पाएंगे. आप ड्रॉ करेंगे 5.12, 5.001 या 4.992, 4.98. इस तरीके से आप एक्चुअल में ड्रॉ कर रहे होंगे. ओके, कभी भी आप ये एग्जैक्ट वैल्यू कभी भी ड्रॉ नहीं कर पा रहे हो. ओके, कहने का मतलब है ऑल दीज वैल्यूज आर वेरी क्लोज टू ए पर्टिकुलर टारगेट वैल्यू. एक जो टारगेट वैल्यू है उसी के आसपास ये वैल्यूज आएंगे. ओके, फॉर हियर दिस इज टारगेट वैल्यू. ओके, या यहाँ पे FM क्या होता है आपका, ये वाली लाइन जो है आपकी क्या है, FM होती है, और इसी के आसपास ये कुछ वैल्यूज आती जाती हैं. ओके, इसी के आसपास ये वैल्यूज आती हैं. सो ये जो ग्राफ बनता है रफली कुछ इस तरीके से बन जाता है. इसी तरह के ग्राफ को आप बोलते हैं नॉर्मल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कर्व या गॉसियन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कर्व. सो आप चूंकि ये जो कैलकुलेशन कर रहे हैं ये बेस्ड है किस पे, हिस्ट्री ऑफ योर एरिया, कि पुराना डेटा आपके पास कितना अवेलेबल है उस डेटा को आप देख रहे हैं. तो अगर लेट अस से अगर पटना में फ्लड आती है और मैक्सिमम प्रेसिपिटेशन 100 था, ओके, तो अगली बार जो फ्लड आएगी वो भी 100 के आसपास ही होगी. ओके, 102 हो सकती है, 98 हो सकती है, आसपास ही रहेगी, बहुत ज्यादा चेंज नहीं होगा उसमें. बहुत ज्यादा चेंज कब होगा, जब वहां का क्लाइमेट चेंज होगा. ओके, so likewise you can get a slightly feeling of this, that this formula is based on your distribution curve, probability distribution curve. Okay, so what is probable maximum precipitation? It is that value of precipitation जिससे आपका जो रेनफॉल है वो कभी एक्सीड ना करे. ओके, इफ यू से 150 सेंटीमीटर ऑफ रेनफॉल, देन रेनफॉल जो है वो हमेशा क्या हो, 150 से कम हो. सो दैट वैल्यू यू हैव टू कैलकुलेट. ओके, सो दिस इज ऑल फॉर टुडेज क्लास. ओके, आई होप you have learned something from it. Okay, we'll meet in the next segment. Thank you very much.